All right, so who am I? My name is Craig Pera. I'm the founder of the Mindful Habit System. I have been helping men and women all over the world professionally for the past 8 years, primarily men struggling with compulsive sexual behavior, also known as sex addiction and porn addiction. And essentially, I built a model called the Mindful Habit System that I now train to therapists all over the world. I've worked with over 1,000 clients. I've worked with men and their partners in over 27 countries. And I've been on the Steve Harvey Show. I've been on the Katie Couric Show. I've been on Lifetime, done some amazing things. And over the course of the past 8 years, I have connected with amazing people. And I feel so blessed and privileged to do what I do. And thank you for watching this video. So how did I get here, though? Well, first and foremost, everything that I've learned is born in failure. I had like two parts of me. On one hand, growing up, there was a successful part, class president, captain of 2 sports, graduated from law school, had a great job, had a beautiful family. On the outside, everything looked great. Everything looked great. But on the inside, I was profoundly broken. I was abused as a child, and we'll talk about some of that stuff as we get to know each other. I was sexually abused as a child, and not to make excuses, but there were certain aspects of me that were broken, and those broken parts never healed. And instead of healing, you bleed on people you love. I bled on people I love, my family, my wife, and completely unable to manage these difficult emotions. I numbed, cope, and escape. And I have a naturally addictive personality. I was given up for adoption, and I learned how many generations there's addiction and alcoholism in my family going back years and years, generations and generations, and here I was. So I had this other part of me, this darker part of me, this addict part of me that loved porn, and that's something every kid loves. I mean, the thought that would have been something that was harmful when I was sneaking magazines as a child was ridiculous. And well, it ultimately robbed me of my ability to be intimate and to connect with my wife. I was watching disturbing things. As anybody watching this knows, it gets worse, it gets worse, and it gets worse. So there was porn, there was affairs, there were prostitutes, there were drugs. And what happened about 10 years ago, all of those forces collided. I was in a new job, new responsibility, running a billion-dollar company's compliance department, and I hated my job. I hated my boss, and I didn't deal with it in the mature, responsible way. Instead, I tried to kill myself. I abused drugs. I got fired, lied to my wife, had an affair with prostitutes, numbing, coping, and escaping, getting my needs met in a terribly unhealthy, self-destructive way. And that rock bottom brought me here, because at that rock bottom, it wasn't as if I hadn't been working on myself for decades. I had been. I'd gone to therapy, I'd gone to counseling, I'd gone to meetings. I did all the things that I felt that I was supposed to do, but there was still this massive hole. And here I am after all that work at my lowest point. I started seeing an alternative counselor therapist. His name was George Collins in Walnut Creek, California. The company name is called Compulsion Solutions. And for the first time in my life, I was meeting with someone who did not subscribe to the disease-based model. And I went, what? That's even a thing? I thought I had to fix my disease. I thought I had a disease. And then I also discovered habits. And I was always interested in mindfulness, but I hadn't really thought about it to treat my compulsive behavior. And there was this intersection of habits, mindfulness, break a habit, make a habit, alternatives to the disease-based model. And ultimately, my therapist hired me, saw that I had a gift in helping people. And here I am 10 years, well, no, 10 years later, almost 8 years, I've been helping people professionally deal with their addictions. And it has been the most rewarding thing that I have ever done in my life. And I feel so blessed and privileged to be here with you on Twitch. So this is a cool thing. This is a new thing. I don't know if I'm doing even everything right, but we're going to